Are some people more predisposed to becoming demonically possessed than others? What is up, Alien Army? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. Today's topic, we're just going to be talking a little bit briefly about exorcisms because for some reason the other day I was looking into the case of Anneliese Michel, and I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm sure you have heard of this famous case of the exorcism. This was the true life story that inspired the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and I think it's like the most famous exorcism case that's out there that is a true story purportedly.
Okay, I wasn't there, I don't know.
I do know that demons do try to and sometimes are successful in demonically possessing someone in a human vessel because it happened to me.
It didn't happen to me, it happened for me because it just made me aware of what's really going on in the fucking astral realm.
So regardless, I was looking into this case and this happened in like the late 60s, early 70s, and I was channeling in regards to this. Okay, this is not going to be about her, not like, I'm not channeling her, I'm not channeling the demon who, you know, allegedly was possessing it. This has nothing to do with that. So if that's what you were looking for, wrong video. But this is just an example because I looked into her case because I was channeling about demonic possessions because Pluto came through and he was just showing shit to me. So I said, okay, Pluto, I guess that's what we gonna do today. So I was looking into this and I just read like a brief synopsis, and if you just side note, okay, if you want to look at like the videos or if you want to listen to the voice being recorded and things like that, I mean, to me it sounds legit. I don't think that I have any type of doubt that there wasn't a demon involved. Am I certain who that demon was or if there were multiples or whatever? I don't know, but in my opinion, in my viewpoint, I do think that that is a valid example of someone who was demonically possessed. And so this is really something that has to do with, is someone predisposed to being demonically possessed? So first example why I think this really happened.
And I'm not a fucking nut job, I promise. Well, I mean, sometimes I am, but
when I channel 4D energy, when I've channeled demons, legit, there's a video that I think I'm gonna link below where you see Anneliese Michel and she is, you know, the priests are performing exorcism on her. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something, okay? But the priest is there and she's laying, and towards the end of the video, she starts laughing, okay? She starts laughing. Well, the human vessel was laughing, but, you know, I don't know if she was the one really laughing. And this confirmed it to me because when I've channeled demonic energy, I have legit laughed like that. And I don't know why I've laughed like that.
I'm not a creep.
I legit have laughed like that when channeling 4D demonic entities because that's how they roll. Everything to them is fucking funny, okay? Everything. They're master magicians. They're just, everything is a joke. Everything is a game. Even when they're really coming off as intimidating, it's still a game to them. It's still fucking funny. So that is probably what confirmed it for me. Because I had always heard the voice recordings of, like, you know, she was speaking, what I think it was German, and, you know, she was saying stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure that actually was another entity that was piloting the vessel at that time. But what solidified it for me, at least with this case where I'm like, that is not a hoax, absolutely not, in my opinion, because I have laughed like that when channeling demonic entities. Now the thing is, when I'm channeling them, it's different than someone who is being possessed without their free will, okay? When I channel, no one is taking over my body. No one is doing that. Not anyone, not Jesus, not Lucifer, not demons, not angels. No one is taking over my body. It's like they are conveying to me, and then I'm sort of like, I'm speaking what they are saying, or I'm just like, I'm laughing because what they're doing is like really funny. A lot of times when I've channeled demons, they're like telling me some shit and I just start laughing because they're laughing. So we're looking through the same eye at the same thing. It's like we're just tapped in like that, okay? So that's for me when I channel. when it was attempted for, you know, like some demon tried to attempt to demonically possess me. No, I was not laughing, okay? I was not laughing. I mean, it attempted to happen after that, which I was laughing a little bit on the inside because, oh word, I see you motherfucker, you trying to come here today. So it was a little funny, but either which way, that is why I would say that this case, for example, is like the prime minister of demonic possession. So I'm like, this is legit. I have heard of other cases, but this is the one that stood out to me to talk about, so here we go.
So I'm just gonna jump in here as I'm editing, because after I was done finishing this video, I actually saw another video posted in regards to demonic possession, and I am gonna link that video below, so if you want to check that out. But this video is in regards to a guy named Michael Taylor, who is from the United Kingdom, and he is someone who is allegedly also demonically possessed. Now, I looked up his birthday, which is interesting because it's September 21st, 1944. And when I was looking up Anneliese Michel's birthday, she is born on September 21st, 1952. So I know that that was a synchronicity that the universe wanted me to bring that up. That's why I'm interrupting this video to mention it now. But I do feel that the two of them are related. And funnily enough, the day that I filmed this video, it was actually July 1st. And I looked up Anneliese's birthday. I don't remember her death date, but when I looked up her birthday again to compare it to this guy Michael Taylor, I saw that she actually died on July 1st, 1976, which is the day that I filmed this. So even though I did not channel her directly, what happened, I feel, is that something in that energy, whether it was her, whether it was the demons involved, I don't know, but somehow I'm just gonna go by these two are connected. So if I receive further information about this, then I will let you know. But September 21st, really interesting, and both of these quote-unquote cases had prolific events that happened in the early mid-70s, I guess. So some food for thought, but let's get back to the video, shall we?
So with her case in particular, now I did a brief background, and I'm trying to get this information, like, you know, how to present it to you all in what could potentially have someone be predisposed to that. Now, for me personally, I wouldn't say that I was predisposed to it in the sense that I was overly religious as Anneliese Michel was. From what I gathered, from what I read about her, she was very into, was it Roman Catholic? It was some sort of, yeah, I believe so, because the priests, I think, were Roman Catholic. But anyway, so she was really into that, okay? So that's her. For me, when I was attempted to be demonically possessed, it wasn't that I was overly religious, it was that I was dabbling, and this was years ago. Okay, that wouldn't happen now because,
like, I'm cool with demons.
Like, that's why I'm like, oh shit, bro, like, look, okay, I see what you did there, right? Like, and it's not funny, obviously, when someone is going through that, but now I can look at it. But when I was in that, I said, oh, whoa, what the fuck? Anyway, regardless, I have a video going more in depth if you want to check that out. But what predisposed me wasn't that I was overly religious in any direction. I didn't have a fear of, like, the devil or fear of religious religious repercussions and things like that. I was just more in, like, I was getting heavily into like spirituality and psychic and channeling and ritual and spell work and tarot cards and things like that. So I was just in the 4D, but I wasn't too well versed at that point. So that is what sort of made me susceptible at that time, because I was transitioning from 3D mentality into 4D. I mean, I've always kind of been like with the higher dimensions, but I mean, when I really started like actively doing it, like honing in on it, that's when that happened, because I was aware of those things, but I wasn't aware of them to the point where it's like, oh, easily recognized, right? Like once you see a fucking shoe, you know what a shoe is. If you've never seen a shoe before, you'd be like, what the fuck is that? Why you got some shit on your feet, right? Weird example, but you know what I mean. So now I'm just like, oh, I recognize that. I know what that is. So that's what it is. It's a demon. It might be trying to come through. That's what it is. I recognize it in someone else or whatever, right? But at that point, it was like I was dabbling in it. So I didn't really have that sort of buffer, that aura shield up to full effect because I was just getting my feet wet. So then what happened with me is that they saw that, so they saw sort of like a conduit, like, okay, here's someone who they're getting into it. They don't really know exactly what the fuck they're doing in the 4D, but they're there, so they saw that as an opening, okay? So that's what happened. But then obviously, you know, I've advanced a lot since then. I mean, even when that happened, I advanced a lot to the point where like that attempted to occur, I think like a month or two later, and I felt that shit coming. I said, we ain't got time for that today. And then, you know, it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen anymore. I've witnessed it happen with other people in my personal realm experience, like live action, but for me, no, because I'd be like, listen, they're here for you, they ain't here for me. I don't know what's going on. I know what y'all got going on, but they ain't here for me, because I recognize demonic energy like so easily now. Anyway, so that is just the perspective from me. So for her, what was going on is that she was very into the religion that she was into. And for her, now I don't know exactly her mentality, you know, I don't know exactly what was going on with her, but that, from what I saw, was a contributing factor. So when someone is very predisposed to demonic possession, it can come in a way where it's like they're overly religious in one direction to a point where it's like now excess potential, they've built up excess potential in being overly religious, that a balancing force, they kind of sniff that out. They want to come in and be like, hello, like there's the other side too, you know? So either she was fearful of like the dark side, or if she just didn't acknowledge the dark side, there was something going on within her. This is what I was being convinced. Remember, I'm not channeling her. I'm not channeling the demons that were going on with her. Okay, this is just me channeling Pluto, channeling other demons, and because Pluto is the planet of exorcisms in astrology, in case you didn't know. So that's why Pluto came through. He's kind of like guiding me there. So I was like, okay, I see. So the demons and Pluto were showing me like, look, like that's what she had going on within her. So for whatever reason, they found her to be like an open portal, and that just came through. And it had something to do with her being very into her religion, okay? So I'm not saying that if you are very into a religion that is going to happen, no, but this is just something that I can see that I was being conveyed is like a precursor to a demonic possession if someone is overly religious, okay? Because think about it, you're hyping all of that shit up, like evil is bad, the devil is bad, blah 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 blah, like Satan and things like that, right? So what's gonna happen energetically, we want to look, remember, balancing forces, okay? You're generating excess potential one way, so what's going to happen neutrally, it's going to want to come in and neutralize. If you want to look at it from more of like a spiritual perspective, it's like, yeah, you're so into like the angels and doing good and blah blah blah, but guess what, the demons are like, wait a second,
you're in a 3D suit, motherfucker.
Like, motherfucker, like you're overly into a religion, like you're in a 3D suit. So what's going on here is that you're not even acknowledging that there's like a dark side. You're like, remember, we have 4D, 5D, they're interwoven over the 3D realm. So if you pay too much attention to one, remember, again, that neutralization, and there are entities that exist in the 4D, there are entities that exist in the 5D. Can they come in as the form of thought processes and emotional residue and shit like that? Sure, but they still can have like a caricature assigned to them. So that's how we want to look at that type of energy from all different angles. Can it be a demonic energy that is coming in as a caricature? Sure. Can it be an angelic energy that's coming in as a caricature? Sure. But it's still going to want to get that point across to the person if they are generating too much potential away from whatsoever they are looking away from, because it wants to balance out. So I would say a predisposition for a demonic possession is just someone, like when that went on with me, that happened. Okay, I was dabbling in, you know, the 4D arts and things like that, but I didn't really have like, you know, my spiritual armor on like I do now. And besides, like, demons, they're not scary. They're really not. I channel demons. I know it sounds really fucking wild to say, but they are not scary. They can be, because for a lot of them, that's their job. But if you see them and you look at them and you're like, I'm not afraid of you, and they're like, okay, like, because you still acknowledge them, right? You still acknowledge them, you still acknowledge the dark side. You didn't like shun it away, you didn't turn away from it, you didn't run away in fright, right? Because if you running in fright from a demon, he gonna chase you. You ever see Scooby-Doo? Exactly. So if you just look at it, if you look at the demon, you're like, hey, what's up? Like, you see me? I'm like, yeah, man, I see you. What's up? How you been? And they're like, oh, I'm pretty good. Thanks. How are you? Like, that's all you gotta do. Like, you can't sense that type of energy and run from it or pretend it doesn't exist, because regardless, it's gonna want to balance itself out. Okay, whether you look at a demon as a caricature, whether you look at a demon as an energy, you can't disacknowledge it. You can't be in denial of it. You can't be so overly focused on the good, because the bad, he'd be like, hey, what about me, motherfucker? Because remember, they're one and the same. They're two sides of the same coin. 4D, 5D, angels, demons are the same thing. So what I'm saying with, you know, the whole example of Anneliese Michel is that she was, and this is just, again, I'm not channeling her, I'm not channeling any demons that were associated with her, but I am just picking up, that's what I was guided to convey, is that if someone is too overly into doing good, doing the right thing, listen, there's nothing wrong with believing in a religion if that's what you want to do, if that's what resonates with you. But if you're too overly fixated on that and you're not even acknowledging the dark side, or if you have such a fear of not straying to the dark side, then guess what? The dark side gonna creep on up until you look at it and be like, oh, you're here too, right? Okay, cool. So there's good and there's bad, there's all this stuff.
And why can't we all just get along?
So that's really what's going on with that. So I'm trying to think if there's any other predisposition I would want to talk about in regards to demonic possession. Would I say that it has anything to do with like astrology? I don't know. I mean, again, we're gonna think of like 8th house, 12th house type of things. Okay, I do want to say that the planet for exorcisms, as I said before, is Pluto. So if you feel like you got some demonic energy going on, whether it's affecting you or not, or whether you're just in observance of that with someone else, I mean, I think Pluto, I mean, you're gonna want to go to Pluto, because Pluto, he gonna exercise that, okay, if you allow that. I would say that would be the only thing astrologically. So how you handle a demon or bearing witness to someone else's demon, I would say, again, look at Pluto, look at the aspects to Pluto, because that's going to tell you a lot about where your strengths are in regards to those matters. But if you have Pluto in the 12th house or in the 8th house, does that make you more predisposed to demonic possession? Absolutely not. Pluto is the tool that helps you to exorcise the demons, because Pluto, he ain't scared of the dark. He's just like, okay, motherfucker, here it is, now what? No, and Pluto is a generational planet, so you really want to look at the house placement and the aspects, not necessarily the sign that he's in, and you will see how perhaps it's best for you to deal with demons. For me, I just saw that, I like immediately, I was like, ooh, okay, gotta get me out of here. I called Jesus's name. I woke up in the fetal position. I said, ooh, thank you, Jesus. You know, we know that Jesus and Lucifer are the same person, or the same entity, the same energy, whatever, right? So the name Jesus really carries a lot of weight. Christ consciousness energy, 5D, remember 5D energy, Christ consciousness, which was made famous by Jesus, the ascended master, is not associated with any religion. The name Jesus does carry a lot of weight, because that's immediately bringing you into somewhat of a Christ consciousness, and a demon will sense that and be like, oh, okay, like they'll back off in that aspect, because they can't interfere with Christ consciousness, because it's the same thing. It's just the darker aspect of that 5D light energy. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave this video off here. Thank you, Pluto. Thank you, demons. That's what I got for you today. I'm Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon.